energy is something I don't trust. It can be dangerous for all of us. It's all about sustainable energy. It's all about using the forces of Mother Nature wisely. We don't want a nuclear energy. Nuclear power is the enemy. We got the sun, we got the wind, we got the rain coming on and we don't dirty. We don't want a nuclear energy.
Okay, my name is Gavin Allwright, and I'm a nuclear refugee. I lost my house, my farm to this terrible event, and I'm going to read this statement, and I really hope that the president of TEPCO is listening to this, and humbly I would like to say that I'm representing a few of the people from Fukushima here. 9th of March 2013. Statement to Mr. Naomi Hirose, President of Tokyo Electric Power Company. We stand here today in solidarity with the people of Fukushima and Japan to demand a nuclear-free society. Fukushima is not over. TEPCO should be held to account for its negligence that has led to the Fukushima disaster. And I'll say that again, that's a very Japanese thing. Take responsibility for Fukushima. No to nuclear power. Remember Fukushima. No to nuclear power. Remember Fukushima. No to nuclear power.
Who's Vice Chair of CND, and he's going to give us a bit of a roundup of the nuclear situation as a whole and how we're going to combat nuclear energy in the future.
CND is very proud to be the co-sponsor of this event. There are many reasons to oppose nuclear power. It's not sustainable, it's a distraction from the need for investment in renewables, there's evidential link to childhood leukemias, no one explains what's going to happen to the waste, and of course, as Fukushima shows, the risk of catastrophic accident is just unconscionable.
On that note, actually, I'd like to pass over to my wife. She wanted to just say a few words.
I'm very confused to be here today. I don't know what to say because we were there when it happened. We created a monster called nuclear power, and that might have created a lot of money and job, but we allowed ourselves to keep feeding the monster, and the monster was allowed to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. We allowed the monster to get bigger and bigger, so we might have thought that was our future, but now we know we made a big mistake.
We here know that nuclear isn't the answer. Putting aside for a moment the fact that it can't exist without huge taxpayer subsidies, the waste issue is being extremely underplayed. Radioactive nuclear waste remains dangerous, has a half-life of 150,000 years. No human artifact has survived that long. Not a crumb, not a scratch. And yet there are ongoing attempts to find disposal sites for it in the UK.
Our society is far away from civilization. We see now is a violation of basic human rights and dignity wherever that is affected by the nuclear crisis. This system is completely mad and crazy, and it needs to be ended.
Somerset is the only place where high-level spent nuclear fuel is dealt with less than 100 yards from the playground of a primary school in a densely populated area. Where else in the world do we deal with nuclear waste right next to a children's playground? In 1607, a tsunami came up the Severn Estuary and caused the loss of 30,000 lives. Thank goodness Hinkley Point nuclear power station wasn't there then.
And the fact is that Germany has committed to going non-nuclear by 2022. That's an incredible statement from such a powerful economy that actually thinks it can do without nuclear. And they've actually, immediately after Fukushima, they closed 9 plants. They decided that they didn't need 9 nuclear power plants. Now, why they built them in the first place, I've no idea, but they closed them.
Please help us and ask the British government to put more pressure on the Japanese government to protect the children and adults from radiation exposure. Please lend a hand to empower the Japanese people, because the Japanese government is not doing enough. Please help so that Japanese parents and children can feel safe again. Thank you very much.
It also gives us the option of saying to people around the world, such as Iran and Israel, do as we do, don't go nuclear. Do as Germany does, don't go nuclear.
I've been asked to say why and how Italians said no to nuclear power. I'll start off with how. The answer is referendums. Referendums are a recognised part of the political process in Italy. Since 1946, when the Republic was founded by a referendum, there have been 63 recognised ones.
On behalf of Fukushima Women Against Nuclear Power, Fukushima Nuclear Disaster Apprentice and Fukushima Action Project. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to send my message to all of you who have gathered here today in London. It has been 2 years since the onset of Fukushima nuclear catastrophe. However, this nuclear crisis is far from over. Every day, highly damaging amounts of radioactive contaminants are released into the environment from the stricken Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant.
Now, nuclear weapons are totally dependent on the nuclear elements generated by making nuclear power. They're dependent on uranium and on plutonium, which does not exist. Plutonium does not exist in nature. So if you were to eliminate all nuclear power stations, you would begin to eliminate the means for making nuclear weapons.
My name's Katharine Hamnett. I'm a fashion designer and also an anti-nuclear campaigner for the last 30 years.
Well, my country has been affected by this Fukushima nuclear disaster, and the quality of life after the accident has changed completely, because every time you think about going out or open the window, hang the washing outside, buy something or drink tap water, you've got to think, should I do this? It might shorten my life, but I've got to do this to get to just get by. But I can choose whether or not to do these things, because it's my life that I'm taking in my hand. But if you have children and these things affect your children's lives, I don't know how mothers are even coping. And I've got very many friends like that, and I really wanted to do this for them.
And this is parLIARment. And we've come today in solidarity for the people of Japan and really for all life on Earth, because man-made ionizing radiation destroys the genome, and that is something that we should all take incredibly seriously.
Because this is just not over. It's not over. It's not over in the sense of health problems for the people who are still there, but it's also not over in the sense that these reactors are incredibly dangerous. And if we have another level 7 earthquake, the spent fuel ponds on top of these reactors, if one of those goes over or it loses its integrity, we are looking at the whole of northern and eastern Japan being evacuated, possibly other areas around the world as well. So it's an ongoing crisis, and people do not know that. They don't know it in Japan, and they certainly don't know it elsewhere around the world.
So just to explain, the reason why we organise this march is that it's time to say no to nuclear, and no to nuclear forever. And the idea of wearing all these sunflowers is that we're creating a sunflower revolution, and that means a revolution in energy provision. So we want a future that is green, is fair, affordable, and is absolutely non-nuclear. And we know we can achieve that. Germany is showing us the way. They've actually built a whole blueprint, a roadmap for a nuclear-free future, and we want the same for the UK. And it's such a crucial time now. We really want everybody to get together and understand that we don't need nuclear to keep the lights on, and in fact nuclear is the last thing we need. And it's time to say no to nuclear forever, and let's have a sunflower revolution for a really truly renewable, sustainable future.